Hi students, today we're going to do a quick lesson in Excel. Okay, so you say Microsoft Excel. What is Excel? What is it used for? Okay, if we were to look at the textbook definition of Excel, it will tell us that Excel is a grid of rows and columns that contains text, numbers, and formulas. Okay, so what's Excel used for? It can be used for all kinds of things. In your personal life, you can use it maybe to track your finances, track how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out. Or let's say maybe during the summer you start a little home-based business. You're going to do lawn mowing and landscaping and things like that for people, little odd jobs. You can use Excel to keep track of how much you make and what your expenses are there. A business can use it for anything dealing with numbers, anything where they may want to have formulas in it. They can keep track of finances, inventory, basically anything. Okay, so I said the textbook definition is that it's a grid of rows and columns that contains text, numbers, and formulas. If we look at our Excel screen here, you'll see that the columns go up and down, and they are labeled A, B, C, D, and so forth. And the rows go back and forth, and they are labeled 1, 2, 3, and so forth. The intersection of a column and a row, that's called a cell. Right now my cursor is in cell A1. So that's the makeup of our Excel screen. So I said it's a grid of rows and columns that contains text, numbers, and formulas. So of course it's up to you to put in the text, the numbers, and the formulas. Okay, a couple more little definitions about Excel. We said a cell is the intersection of a row and a column. So right now I'm in A1, and notice up here where I'm pointing to, that's the name box. It tells us that we're in A1. Right now I'm just going to randomly click my cursor just somewhere in the screen. And now it tells me I'm in cell M10. You have to know the names of the cells in order to be able to use them to write formulas. If we are talking about a group of cells that are together, that's called a range. So for example, I'm just going to highlight a group of cells here. I'm highlighting everything from cell A1 to G10. That is a range. If I was writing that on paper, I would write it as A1 colon G10. That means range A1 through G10. So everything from cell A1 through G10. Or here I'm going to highlight everything from J11 to M11. So that is range J11 colon, which means through, M11. And what we are working on right now, this is a worksheet. And if you look down at the bottom of our screen, it tells us we're on sheet 1. My Excel file, I've actually already opened up. I've opened up 2 sheets, a sheet 1 and a sheet 2, and I somehow or another moved them. There, I moved them back. I have a sheet 1 and a sheet 2. Each sheet that you open is basically a blank worksheet for you to work on. If you wanted to open another one, you just click the plus, and you can open up however many you want. In Excel, it will allow you to have 256 worksheets open at the same time. Now, when you save this file, it's going to save all of the worksheets together. So what you're working on right now, what's right in front of us on the screen, is a worksheet. But when you save it, it becomes a workbook. So make sure you know those 2 terms. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to open up a worksheet that already has a few things typed on it. And we're going to look at just some basic things that you're going to be doing in Chapter 1. Okay, so this is a little worksheet. We'll say it's a worksheet for a business. And we're just going to call it ABC Corporation. And I'm going to type the title here at the top. ABC Corporation. And since it's the title, we want the title centered across the entire worksheet. And we're going to do what is called a merge and center. So I'm going to click in cell A1 and I'm going to highlight all the way over to H1. And if I do a merge and center, it's going to take all of those individual cells and merge it into one cell. So I need to find the merge and center button. And it's right here. It's on the home tab, the alignment grouping, and I'm going to choose merge and center. And now it's centered. And since this is the title, I'm going to increase the font. I'm just going to go to the increase font button to make it faster. And I think I'm going to use the fill color and fill it in. Okay, I'll go ahead and leave it in yellow. Okay, if I look at column A, I can't see all of the text in column A. So I can either go up here to the line between A and B, click, hold, and drag to make it however wide I want. Or I can just come up here to the line and I can double click and it will automatically make it the width that it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to show you quickly how to do a little intro on how to do some formulas. Okay, this first column here, column B, it's got a bunch of numbers in it. Let's say that we just want to add those numbers up. If you just want to add a row or a column of numbers, it's really easy. We're just going to choose the auto sum button. So auto sum is the home tab, the editing group, and we're going to find the auto sum button. And with auto sum, we can do different things, but if all we want to do is add, we just have to click in the middle of it and look what it did to the screen. It highlights the numbers that it thinks that you want to add in that formula. And most of the time Excel is correct, but you do need to check it to make sure. And notice the formula that it put in cell B9. You always want to look at the formula to make sure it is exactly what you wanted. But it says equal, sum, and in parentheses, range B3 through B8. That is what we want. Now let's go back and look at the formula just a little bit closer. The equal sign. Anytime you write a formula, you have to type in an equal sign because that tells Excel that you're typing a formula. The word sum is simply a function formula that means to add. There's all kinds, hundreds of function formulas in Excel. We're only going to get into a few of them in this class. And then the range, B3 through, which is the colon, B8, you always put that in parentheses. And if that's the formula that you want, you hit enter and it gives you the answer. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on cell B9 and I see the answer. But if I look up in the formula bar, notice where I'm pointing to, I look up in the formula bar and I see the actual formula. Okay, I want that same formula to be over in cell C9. So I would do the same thing, go to auto sum, and all of the cells do not have numbers in them here, but that's still the range I want to add because we may put in numbers later. And if that's the correct formula, I hit enter again. Or, since I am doing auto sum all the way across, something else I can do is I'm going to click back in cell C9 and notice at the very bottom of that cell, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny box. That's called the fill handle button. I'm going to go to the fill handle button and I'm going to click and hold and I'm going to drag it over to column E. And when I let off my cursor, it dragged the formula over. So I'm going to go back up here and click in each individual cell. And you can look and you can see it dragged the formula over. It just changed it to the correct column name and row number. Okay, so just remember if you want to add, really easy, if the cells are all together in the same range, you just go up to auto sum. I'm going to go up here to average. Okay, first of all, I'm going to wait a minute. If we just wanted to add maybe, and I'm just going to make up something. This is not really going to make sense in this spreadsheet, but if I wanted to add cell B3 and B4 together, I'm going to put in equals B3 plus B4. And notice Excel color codes the cells to help you to make sure you're not making a mistake. I'm going to hit enter, and it gives me the answer. If you want to subtract, you use the subtraction symbol. If you want to multiply, it's the asterisk. So I'm going to take equals cell B3, and I'm going to multiply it. So that's asterisk. I'm going to multiply it by just the number 2. And I'm going to hit enter, and I've got my answer. So if you're doing add, subtraction, division, it doesn't look much different from what you do on paper. Our book is going to go over more about basic formulas with multiplication, addition, and subtraction. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple function formulas. I'm going to show you the function formula to calculate the average of a group of numbers and the maximum and the minimum. So if we want to do the average, first of all, we know we type in an equal, and we're going to type in the entire word average. And we're going to do the average of cells B3. Okay, hold on, I'm in the wrong cell. I'm in the wrong, oh no, I'm not. We're going to do B4 through E4. So I'm going to put down equals the entire word average, and then in parentheses, B3 colon E3. And then I'm going to put my ending parentheses. And once again, you want to always double check to make sure that you've typed everything correct. And if you have, you hit enter, and it gives you the answer. Okay, just a quick review on how to do an average. When you do an average, we've got 4 numbers here that we're calculating the average of. So in math, you would add those 4 numbers up and then divide it by 4. As long as you know how to write the formula, you can let Excel do it for you. And now here, if I want to do that same formula all the way down, once again, I'm going to go to that little fill handle button, and I'm going to drag it down. We don't want to drag it down to the totals row, though. Okay, now quickly we're going to go to cell G4, and we're going to type in the formula to find the maximum of B4 through E4. We're not going to find the maximum of the average row. So the maximum, we're finding whatever the largest number is. So you can look at this spreadsheet and you can quickly find what the largest number is. But just keep in mind, most of the time when you're working with a spreadsheet, you're working with a really big file with hundreds and thousands of numbers. So that's why you would want to write the formula out. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to write the formula. It's going to be equals MAX for maximum. We don't write the entire word, just MAX. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put in B4. And I can click right on cell B4 and it will type it for me. Or I could type it myself, either one. B4. And then I'm going to type the colon for through. And then I'm going to click on E4. And then I'm going to type my ending parenthesis. And I'm going to double check it. Equals max, and in parentheses B4 through E4. If that's what I want, I hit enter. And it brings up the number for me. And once again, I can fill down by going to the fill handle button and dragging. Okay, let's do one more. This one, we're going to calculate the minimum. Otherwise, we're going to calculate the lowest number. So we're going to type equal, MIN for minimum, beginning parentheses, and it's B4, colon for through, E4, and an ending parenthesis. And then hit enter.